New faces, Hannafin and Mantha in the lineup. Same result as the VGK slide continues in a 3-1 loss to Vancouver to the Canucks last night. It was the fifth straight loss at home for VGK and the fourth consecutive loss in a row. Can you say the wheels are falling off? Our takeaways next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome from Las Vegas on the WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick here reporting. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com/locked on. And what do they say? Shoot yo shot. Shoot your shot. Well, VGK didn't. Yeah, VGK did not shoot its shot last night. Didn't it feel like the Golden Knights, Chris, were skating upstream all night long? Vancouver, pretty much after that first few minutes of this game, which were penalty filled by the VGK, was pretty much in control of this contest.
It was a boring game. I really liked the pace of the Golden Knights for basically until the penalty started, which unfortunately was not that long into the game. But I really felt the Golden Knights were skating really hard. Like their feet were moving. There was no passengers, at least early on in the game. And then unfortunately you got the double minor for the high sticking penalty. And then I don't know. This is one of those things as a ref/former ref that gets me when I see refs do this. So you have that big skirmish where someone kind of whacks at the puck, kind of gets a little piece of Aiden Hill. No big deal. You have a skirmish happen, and the skirmish isn't really stopping because the linesman can't get control of it. That's on the linesman, not on the players. And eventually, I'm pretty sure it was Steve Kazari, he gets all pissed off and just starts throwing people in the box. And only thing that gets me is there was no original call on the play. His hand was not up. And then all of a sudden, Kazari sends a Canuck player to the box for slashing the goalie. And then Kolesar gets one for grabbing the visor, and Pietrangelo gets an extra as well. Like, if the first penalty was egregious enough to be a penalty to get a call, then you call it when it happens, and none of the extra stuff happens. That's controlling a hockey game 101 right there. So that's not why the Golden Knights lost. It didn't certainly help things, but the original question was just about, I forget, what was the original question? I just started talking.
We didn't have a question. I just made a statement that it felt like VGK was behind this entire evening, and they couldn't break through neutral ice. I was at the game, and there was a period of time there, second, third periods, where they had to actually chip and chase because they could not get the puck into the neutral zone. It was, to me, everyone there, I was at the game, of course, continuing my little run of good luck there with VGK. And it just didn't seem to me like there was a major improvement for VGK last night. I'm sorry. Everyone was like, yeah, they played pretty well. How? Where? It just seemed like Vancouver was in control the entire evening.
Listen, Vancouver's a better hockey team right now. Let's be absolutely
16 points up on VGK. 16 points.
Games. I mean,
16 points. Holy cow.
Yeah, no, they're not. No one's connection. Well, Edmonton maybe. Golden Knights are not catching the Canucks for the division. That's a foregone conclusion at this point. If I'm wrong, fine, but I'm pretty confident in that statement. The Canucks are a really good hockey team. The Golden Knights are not. What do you mean the Golden Knights are not a good hockey team? Well, their record for the last however many games, they are an under 500 team, I think, for like the last 33, 34 games or something right now. The Golden Knights did a good job, paying off their credit card early in the season to buy them a spot in the playoffs. They're still in the playoffs by just 6 points now. there is only 6 points of separation. Let me verify this just to
It
make
is 6
sure.
points, and
Yeah,
Seattle's
because
coming, Calgary's coming, St. Louis
yeah,
is
no, I mean
coming,
that's
right?
the thing. I mean, we're still not talking about the Golden Knights even trying to secure home ice advantage. We're talking about them treading enough water because there are 1, 2, 3 teams, like you said, Seattle, St. Louis, and Calgary. It can be a long show, and then the Minnesota Wild are still right there. Now we'll see what happens. We're recording right now at 6:43 in the morning. Trade deadline is in 5 hours and 17 minutes. I still don't think, based on the cap situation, the Golden Knights are done. You still got like Bushnevich out there and some other notable names, maybe
Goaltenders.
some names we don't know about. God, Aiden Hill, that was
Goaltending.
bad.
Don't at me. Don't at me today. Adult
I
fans,
don't at
don't
me.
even.
Bring it to me.
Okay. So Quinn Hughes, he beats him glove side. The 5-hole goal, was that Garland, or I forget how. Of course, my paisano,
It was a Pee
Di
Wee player. Who
Giuseppe.
cares? A Pee Wee player would have scored that goal.
I mean, and Di Giuseppe, glove side, my paisano there, that should not be playing hockey because none of us do. They beat Aiden Hill. This is awful. Goaltending's not
Yeah, I
been good.
mean,
Not good. Not good.
Aiden Hill's the crazy thing, his 3 goals against last night actually lowers his goals against for like the last 8 games. What does that tell you? I pulled out the Leonard card last night. I did it. In that second goal, this is the first time. So, Tony, if you remember, we watched Aiden Hill in the preseason 2 seasons ago, and you and I both, I think, were texting each other. We're like, "This is Aiden Hill. This is This is Robin
Robin
Leonard
Leonard.
2.0. This is Robin
Yeah.
Leonard 2.0."
Mhm.
And obviously, that was just preseason. Aiden Hill had a remarkable season, won a big part in winning the Stanley Cup. Give him his credit. But that second goal he gave up. Now, Cassidy, I think, was trying to, I don't know if protect him isn't the word, but Cassidy was trying to shoot off in the post game. Well, the shot fooled him, he said. He thought it was going somewhere. No, it didn't fool him. Aiden Hill didn't react to the shot, and it looked bad. It looked very Robin Leonard-esque. Now, does Aiden Hill have a better ceiling than Robin Leonard? Can Aiden Hill still turn this around? I think so. But right now, that was the first time I saw shades of Robin Leonard last night on that particular goal, that second goal.
VGK trailing 2-0, 6 minutes in penalties out of the gate, as you mentioned. Vancouver, a team, here's why they're having such a terrific season. They have scored first, the graphic said on TV, 42 out of 65 games. And in our preview yesterday, we said one of the keys to their success as well was winning puck battles. And they just beat VGK to the punch. I didn't have any doubt there, even when it was 2-1. Even though there were a couple of posts that VGK had in that contest last night, I still felt that this was a team that was in control. Wow went off the crossbar. I think it was Eichel who hit the post as well. I still felt, to me, that Vancouver was in control, and that was not a good sign for VGK.
No, and you got the new players in the lineup. On a
No
positive side,
evaluation. We're not going to evaluate them.
yeah, we're not going to evaluate them, apparently. I liked Hannafin's skating, but Hannafin also had 2 key turnovers in the game, neither of which led to a goal, thankfully, but that should work itself out. Mantha had a really good shot early on, but I feel like the Carlson, Stevenson, Mantha line was buried. Like, I was watching the game somewhat closely last night, and I'm like, where are they? Where are they? Where are these guys? So I'm not sure if that's just, a little bit of growing pains or what the deal is, or if Chandler Stevenson isn't a winger. That's what it is. Chandler Stevenson isn't a winger.
He's not a winger. Yeah.
Chandler Stevenson is not a winger. Let's just put that out there right now.
He's calling that an experiment. It's an experiment.
I mean, there's 19 games left. That this is the perfect time.
It's not an excuse. It's an experiment.
Stop taking my what WTFs.
Right.
No, so that's pretty funny. Not an excuse, it's an experiment. I like that one, actually. I mean, Pietrangelo and Hannafin, that's going to take time. Hannafin, I think, was late to the first practice. Like, I think he literally met Cassidy on the fly. He wasn't late, like, because he was, lazy or anything like that, just with the situation and the trade and the plane and everything.
From Tampa. Flew from Tampa.
Yeah. Give Pietrangelo and Hannafin some time to gel. Give Mantha some time to, find his way in the lineup. And also, let's see if another move. I feel confident that McCrimmon is still not done with now 5 hours to go between
No.
now and the trade deadline.
Absolutely not. Shea Theodore have to find more ways. Bounces have gone the other way. Bruce Cassidy chasing the game. 2 penalties early. Need to dig in after the first negative thing happens. They were trying long passes, as we said, that just did. I mean, Vancouver again. I think as well, WTF, I know later, the teams are catching up to this system. I'm sorry. This is Pete DeBoer. This is Pete DeBoer, bro.
It's fair. The difference, obviously, is one of those coaches between Cassidy and DeBoer has found a way to make adjustments and win a Stanley Cup. And one thing I do remember about last year, like especially like the last like 2 weeks leading up from the regular season to the Stanley Cup playoffs, is I felt the Golden Knights really did a good job in upping their attack on the forecheck. They were applying a lot more pressure as the season progressed, and it definitely got to a very high level once the playoffs started. So I'll give Cassidy credit for having something up his sleeve as the season comes to an end, as far as maybe disguising whatever they're going to do when the playoffs goes, or finding different and creative ways to keep the team in the game. But at the end of the day, it's execution, it's puck management, it's the same crap we've been hearing from the same people for the last 2.5 months now. Morelli, terrible turnover. You see what happens.
Why is Morelli in the lineup? Why is it? He's a Hershey Bear. Why is he in the line? WTF later.
The AHL line has run its course.
Yep,
the AHL line has run its course.
No doubt.
Nick Watt needs to be down the fourth line.
Yep, we need to move along here because we have so many WTFs there, Mr. Golick. Coming up next, our preview of Saturday's game between VGK and the Detroit Red Wings that comes your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. And you will have over 35 options to choose from each and every week, from Calorie Smart to Protein Plus. There's even Keto. And also, there are more than 60 add-ons that will help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. 2-minute meals. Fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat up and to eat whenever you are ready. And every time they mention pancakes on the show, I go wild and ballistic. Pancakes, smoothies, and much, much more. No prep, no mess meals. Factor meals are ready to heat up and eat. No prepping, no cooking. Yeah, you have to clean up. Nope, not with Factor. Right now, head over to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50. Use the promo code LockedOnNHL50. Say the word pancake. No, it's LockedOnNHL50 to get 50% off. That's code LockedOnNHL at factormeals.com, FACTOR, meals.com/LockedOnNHL50, and you will get 50% off. Welcome back from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Today, of course, WTF, What the Friday, and Trade Deadline Day, although Chris might argue that Trade Deadline Day was on Tuesday. And, of course, don't forget tomorrow on YouTube, the exclusive with the Chris and Chris Golick show. You don't want to miss that.
Friday. It's crazy. It's already
I know.
Friday.
They're just flying by here, flying by. And a little PSA, make sure to spring forward on Sunday already. This is pretty crazy. Right?
You just gave me another WTF, but go ahead.
Okay. Just 19 games remaining, including 10 at home. Does VGK appear to be a cup contender? Not quite.
No,
VGK
not right now.
Hoping to break this losing streak for starters on Saturday night against Detroit. Detroit comes in. Oh my gosh. Off a back-to-back. They're going to be playing in Arizona.
I got it queued up here. I've got it queued up. I was wondering, Tony, if you were going to
Arizona on Friday night. Oh my gosh. Detroit at T-Mobile Saturday. Red Wings defeated VGK earlier in this season, 5-2, a talented group. Dylan Larkin out 2 weeks with a lower body injury. Big break for the
That's a
Vegas
big
Golden
blow.
Knights. Stay with us.
Pardon me.
Stay awake right now. In that previous meeting, goals number 200 and 201 of his career, leads Detroit with 54 points. Detroit 6-4 in the last 10. I could see this game might go sideways. Detroit with the loss earlier this week in Colorado, 7-2. Any other comments on Detroit? I am so ready for WTF. I'm
No, I
fired
mean,
up.
this game, it's not honestly the opponents of the Golden Knights is absolutely irrelevant for Saturday against Detroit and the rest of the regular season. The rest of the season, every game, every practice even is the Golden Knights against themselves. It's the Golden Knights finding ways to limit their turnovers. It's the Golden Knights getting back to their system of winning hockey. And you mentioned the passes and stuff. The Golden Knights, they were just trying to. And the Canucks had an answer for everything the Golden Knights did, and the Golden Knights are not a good chip and chase team. That is not what their DNA is. They can do it, but they don't do it well. So this is what the LA Kings, when they were a better defensive team over the last few seasons, they were able to do. And the Golden Knights always had that adjustment, though, whereas they did not have the adjustment against the Canucks. And back to the Golden Knights against themselves, Detroit. I mean, they're a desperate team right now, trying to hold on to that playoff spot. Patrick Kane is definitely helping get this team to another level. 31 points, 31 games. We'll see which goalie goes. I'm assuming Lyon goes tonight in Arizona. I don't know if it's Reimer or Husso. Which goalie? Reimer. Okay,
Reimer's been
Husso
back
must be
up.
hurt then.
He's still
okay. So
wasn't he hurt before? I think he's still out. Yeah.
Husso's played 19. Reimer's played 17. And hold on a second. The other day we were talking, I think it was earlier in the week, it might have even been last week. I was trying to remember the Columbus Blue Jackets goalie, Golden Knights traded. Michael Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
He had Hutchinson has one appearance for the Detroit Red Wings this year. So there you go.
Did he get a W, or do we know? What's his goals against them? I know you're a big fan.
Hill's last starts.
How much is his trading card worth? Lucas Raymond's having a good season. Yeah. Negative.
I don't think they make him anymore. I don't think he, even in the biggest of sets, I don't think he even gets an OPG right now.
A good season for Lucas Raymond, 51 points. You said Lyon or Reimer. We'll see how they switch those. Lyon beat VGK, right? The last meeting. And this is a Detroit Lions, because I call them Lion. This is a Detroit Red Wing team.
Shout out Chris Wynn.
That cannot beat the upper echelon teams. But they are sixth in scoring goals per game and looking for their first playoff berth since 2016, Mr. Golick.
This is a Golden Knights team that can't beat anybody, so what's the difference?
And a team that can score, right? This is scary.
It's unfortunate, but let's see if they bounce back.
All right. But hey, do not evaluate the new players, because WTF is coming up next. WTF. Stay with us right here on Locked On Golden Knights. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. So don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed, your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates in fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, for screening, and messaging so that you can connect with candidates a lot faster. Join over more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show, you will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility. That's right. At Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights, this WTF edition of the show. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen. Most of you tune in on Apple. We have all this data now. Shout out to our Great Dane friends in Denmark. I think we had, even on that list, probably like 7th or 8th, Malaysia. We are huge in Malaysia. I just wanted to point that out.
VGK has a worldwide initiative. I guess we're locked on VGK worldwide.
Absolutely. We have that worldwide appeal, especially me,
Okay, so
because I've
here
got
I want
fans everywhere.
for everyone listening. Here's what I want you guys to do: send us a picture of the flag of your city, your state, your country, especially if you're international. That'd be really cool. Like, send us a picture of you where you're listening from with your flag. That'd be kind of cool. There you
That
go.
would be kind.
Third segment. We know people listen this late, so I'm sure we'll get some responses.
Oh, WTF is massive, especially in places like Malaysia.
And
Okay,
if you listen in another language, give us "Shut Up, Tony" in your native language too.
that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, my first WTF. As you know out there, I am a co-host of this very show. However, Mr. Chris Golick always gets the ink in Edmonton. Am I mincemeat? I never get any ink in Edmonton. I'm like, am I even on his show? Hello, Edmonton, WTF?
Pretty funny. I think so. Particular reporter, I think, shout out to David Staples. I appreciate you, David Staples. We'll leave it there. All right. So, narrative. Let's talk narrative for a second. Early in the season, the Golden Knights played too many games, and then all of a sudden the games were all spread out. And now there's injuries. There's less injuries, but now there's injuries. And now it's new faces. This is just a season of narratives. And I know it gets, there's only so much you can talk about when you're on the podium with the microphone and stuff, but a lot of things that get evaluated as far as success goes for a season is just how everyone handled themselves. And it's also fair to say when people are speaking that maybe they're being told what to say. Who knows? However you want to slice that. But point being, at the end of the day, I think as fans, as media, as alleged journalists, as whatever the heck we are these days, I think people are just tired of the narratives and want to see winning hockey. And no excuses, no circumstance, whatever you want to say, chop the narratives and start winning some hockey games. WTF.
WTF. I was at last night's game with my good friends from the Vegas Thrill. I consult for them on the marketing side. And WTF, a shout out to DJ Joe Green, who said he had Dancing Queen queued up. I said, not tonight, Joe, not tonight.
You got Taylor Swift, though. You got Taylor Swift.
That was a lot of fun. WTF. WTF, I just wanted to talk for a second about, we were addressing this yesterday, and then it came out later in the day as if it were big news about the fact that VGK with Hannafin from the Flames looking for a contract extension. Kevin Weeks reported somewhere in the vicinity of an 8-year contract extension. Jonathan Marchessault saying right now, WTF. Don't forget about Marchie. It is March Madness. Marchessault Madness, folks. Get to his contract. Take care of him. Pay the dude. I could tell right now he's pressing a little bit too. WTF.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'll just stop right there.
Okay,
all right,
stop
so
right there.
we have stop it right there, Eddie Olachuk. So Sunday, you mentioned the time change earlier. My hockey team has a practice scheduled for Sunday morning at 7:30 in the morning. I don't mind the 7:30 side that much. I honestly don't mind the 6:30 side. With the time change, it's going to be 6:30 as far as our heads go. That's too early in the morning, especially for the kids and stuff. And I don't know. It's just, I think it's terrible practicing. So WTF America First Arena for foobarring that schedule on Sunday morning. And then my last one, then we'll kind of go off the rails for a little bit here.
We have it already.
Fair enough.
We haven't gone off the rails.
Well, I'm still on my napkin.
Change.
I'm still on my napkin right now.
Okay.
After this, the napkin goes away. So, all right. Everyone is still on the Golden Knights for this cap circumvention crap and all these comments about Mark Stone, blah, 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 blah. And now people are saying the LTIR rules need to be looked in and Golden Knights need to be investigated. Elliot Friedman reported the Golden Knights were investigated last year. They handed over whatever the NHL needed. It was open and closed in a matter of seconds. So for those claiming that the Golden Knights are purposely doing these things, just go away, shut up. You know what we're talking about. But as far as looking into the LTIR rules and changes, The current CBA is over after the 25-26 season. Sometime in probably the next 8 months, you'll be hearing about a lockout possible. And it always happens when any professional league has to negotiate the new CBA. But an item that will possibly come up is the LTIR situation. The NHL wants the stars on the ice in the playoffs. End of story. The general managers want the ability to get their stars back on the ice should they suffer a long-term injury without their team falling out of contention. This is something that is mutually agreed upon between the general managers, the ownership, the presidents, and the National Hockey League. So the fact that if you think the LTIR is only benefiting the Golden Knights, or if it's only the rule's only there to benefit the Golden Knights, your GM and your team owner is on board with this rule. So know the nature of the rule before everyone's out there running their mouths about what the Golden Knights are doing, what the Tampa Bay Lightning did, what the Chicago Blackhawks did, what 17 other teams in the NHL are doing who exceed the upper limit of the salary cap, with the exception of utilizing LTIR funds. So do some research, spend 30 seconds, Google it, look it up, maybe find a Hockey for Dummies book, whatever it is, but look it up before you run your mouth about the Golden Knights doing cap circumvention and breaking rules intentionally. So WTF, there you go.
WTF, you did say circumvention. That's good. WTF, I cannot say it enough, but VGK does need to trade for an experienced goaltender. I just can't. I know I'm beating a dead horse here.
It's not happening, but I
neither
agree.
Hill
I don't
nor
disagree.
Thompson have been good when it matters. Get an experienced goaltender. Have those two goaltenders battle it out for the second place goaltender. Okay, I'm going to do WTFs here from a lot of our listeners and followers. Trey Nelson, Trey3 Nelson, hashtag WTF, is there going to be another trade? We still look awful. And I have to agree with you there. WTF from the Sisypher. The Knights currently have one legitimate line, the Eichel line. Who do they get to build two legit lines? One good one and the fourth line, WTF. And one more, and then you can comment. This is by Hubert Jakar, and that is at JIKOER3G. WTF. Again, a poor start. Next time I start watching 15 minutes into the first period. Love it. Honestly, we need to go back to the four centers deep. Phrase is no good, and Chandler in the wing is a waste. It's not an excuse. It's an experiment. It's an experiment.
I'll give credit to Phrase for doing a very good job in his role, but we heard this early in the season, another narrative, but being the best version of yourself. Phrase is being the best version of himself, but the best version of himself is an AHL player. Let's just be honest about that. Not knocking the guy. That's just what it is. So I am 100% on board with the four centers. I'm 100% on board that this team is still one winger away from something. Now, Will Carrier was supposed to get back on the ice, I believe, in some capacity with the team. Unfortunately, he got an illness now. Okay, fine. Pavel Dorofeev, I believe, was he out there in a red, I thought, or he's really close to coming back? So point being is you have two pretty important ingredients to this lineup coming back. Dorofeev, his injury, Trouba, idiot, whatever. But it's unfortunate that Dorofeev has been out all this time because he's really been needed for the last XYZ amount of games. Paul Cotter, works hard, but someone made a comment. A friend of mine, Doyle, actually made the comment. Cotter is very, what's the word? When you don't think before you do.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, there you go. Point being is I like the take from my friend Doyle about Cotter in that he's good. He works hard, but sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions on the ice. I don't know. So whether Dorofeev is that one winger the Golden Knights are away from possibly becoming this Stanley Cup contender, I don't know. But something needs to happen right now. But the games are too close together. In our narrative, the games are too close together, so we can't evaluate
And
the
bad
new
ice.
players coming on
And bad
because they're
ice.
not getting enough practice. Definitely going to be bad ice on Saturday, 100%. It's
Okay.
going to be a little warmer and humid. Yeah, so there you go.
Amy Brew Knights wanted to. She retweeted again from last week. WTF? Denmark, no windmills. That's aimed at me. Yes, Jonas Ronbjorg. WTF? Shout out to our good friends in Denmark, number 3, with a bullet as far as listenership goes. This is from Dr. Leroy Jenkins. Hashtag WTF. Am I supposed to be excited about Mantha? At VGK_Mucky. WTF was Tony doing at the game? No wonder we lost. I'm getting a bad rap, man.
2 negatives equal a positive. You've been there twice, though. It didn't erase it.
I say we get
apparently
security
the curse
to
of
chase him
Daskell
out.
isn't even strong enough.
I say we get security to chase him out. There was a bunch of stuff. Good banter there. Am I the reason why they've gone sideways? Who knows?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I'm going to read this, but at Boots of Baboon, Tanya, at Boots of Baboon. No relevance. I just want to read it. I don't know. It's random. WTF is with the Palms Casino commercial, a traveling palm tree for no apparent reason, no story, no connection to the advertised shows, nothing but a palm tree. Am I the only one who hates that commercial? And at MAC, I told you, random. At MAC and V, what the Friday am I doing watching? What am I watching here? The fans are just, oh my goodness, they're having meltdowns aplenty. And thanks for the side eye and the stink eye and all those eyes at last night's game. I appreciate it. I know that they're listening.
Awesome.
That's good and watching. It's awesome.
That's pretty
We appreciate.
awesome.
Well, go ahead. Are we going to wrap this up? No. Go ahead.
15
One final
seconds.
note.
15 seconds. My only saving grace right now is Golden Knights. We have no choice to see how the next 4 or 5 games go. Right. New players, new faces.
One is rigged. One is rigged with the back-to-back.
Yes. But the Golden Knights might still lose the way they've been playing at home, so it might not matter. But the Golden Knights have bought some time at least. The Golden Knights credit as far as being a good team, well, they're pretty good. They won Stanley Cup last year. So I'm not jumping off the bridge yet. We're not at that point yet. But that said, if the next 4 or 5 games there's no change, then yeah, it's going to be a different story. But Kelly McCrimmon has at least bought some time in the eyes of the fans, in my opinion. They're going down swinging. This could be Pittsburgh, where they're selling the farm right now, and all of a sudden they didn't sell out a game the other night. So we're not Pittsburgh. We're not Buffalo.
We're not getting Gunsel. We're not getting Gensel.
We're not getting Jake Gensel. No Jake Gensel.
No Gensel. Okay.
Let's go.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Would you let me wrap up this stinking show? Edmonton, Mr. Edmonton there. Thank you so much, especially our everydayers. Thanks so much to my co-host, Chris Golick, for putting up with me again for another week. Holy smokes, it's Friday. WTF. I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Let's wrap this up. We'll see you again next time on Monday with an entirely new roster and new goaltenders right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.
Maybe.